something else, but this will work. 8 times 8. 8 times 8 is what?
4 times 2.
4 times 2. 2 times 2, and then 4 times 2. 2 times 2. Now, when we were doing square roots, okay, think about it. What were we looking for down here? Pairs, right? Square root is to the second power. We're looking for 2 of the same thing. When it's a sixth root, how many of the same thing do you think you're looking for? 6, right? You're looking for 6. So look at this.
Oh, snap.
How many 2's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So it works the same way as what we've already learned, right? But we just did this one in the calculator. But again, the calculator told me 2. It did not tell me plus or minus 2. So you've got to know that on your own. And that is something the calculator won't do for you. Okay? All right. Any questions? No? Okay, we're going to move on then. Okay, the next page. On this, there is, we said on the front, nth roots and rational expressions is the title of this section. Okay, well, nth roots and rational expressions are 2 different things. They mean the same thing. They're just 2 different ways of saying the same thing. Okay? So we're going to learn how to translate between the 2 ways of saying the same thing. They're like 2 different languages. Okay? This one is the radical. All right, and this is rational. All right, this is radical. It has the root. And this is the same numbers, just stated in a different manner, called rational. Okay, it's a rational fraction. So this is how you go between the 2. Right? If it's right here, it's the root, it goes on the bottom of the fraction. Okay, if it's outside the parentheses, it goes on the top of the fraction. A, the number on bottom, is still always going to stay the same. That makes it pretty easy. Okay, so on part B, we're going to evaluate the rational expressions. Okay, we're going to go between one of these. We're going to start with rational and go to this, okay, and solve it and tell what it is equivalent to. We're going to basically simplify it and make it easier to read. So first one is going to be 64 to the 1/2. Okay, 64 to the 1/2. And we'll say what it's equal to. Now we're going to write it in radical form. Okay, and this, which one's n?
1/2.
The 2, right? The number on the bottom is the n. So 2, so it's going to be a square root. And a 1 exponent outside. Okay, well, what is if it's to the first power? What do you have to do with that?
Can you repeat that?
1 over 1.
All right. What if it's to the first power? What do you do? Multiply it, but it's just times itself 1 time, right? So it's basically, you can ignore that. Okay, if it's to the first power, everything is to the first power. You just don't usually write it because it's like, it's already there. Okay, so if there's a 1 on top, then that makes it easier. We can just break that all the way off, and it's really just the square root of 64. And I know we're not used to writing the 2 for square roots, but I'm just writing it here so we can see where both of these numbers went. Okay, the 1 goes here, the 2 goes here. Okay, so now on this one, n is 2. Okay, it's even. So how many solutions is there going to be? 2, right? If it's a square root, there's 2 solutions. And we can break these down. We're going to break down what's inside the parentheses like this every time. Okay, 64. And these, I need you to do it by hand, okay? On the practice, I've asked you also to not use the calculator. You can use the calculator to check it, but I want you to do it by hand again because some of these are going to be easy, but some of the ones that aren't so easy, you can't do it with the calculator. So I need you to know the method. Okay, 64. What is the square root of 64? 8, right? 8. We can just do, if we do 8 and 8, we're just looking for a pair. There it is. So it's 8, but we said there's 2 solutions. Plus or minus. Good. Thank you, Angel. Plus or minus. Okay.
6.
Plus or minus
Oh, never
8.
mind. I went too far.
Right, you went too far. It's okay. All right. So that one, again, because this was an even number, we knew it was plus or minus 8. Let's do another one, number 5.
Killing me, Snickers.
Negative 27 to the 1/3. Okay, I'm going to rewrite it in radical form. Okay, what's my n?
3.
3, right? 3. And negative 27 goes here. And then there's a 1 outside. So again, if it's to the first power, if the number on top of the fraction is just 1, then you can just do it like this. You can pretty much ignore it. Okay. Now, if it's 3, how many solutions am I going to have? All right. 1, right? 1. If it's odd, 1. Right? And if it's negative, okay, this one, it's a little bit harder to break it down the way that we normally do. I would just try to remember that if this is an odd number and this is negative, it's going to be a negative answer. Okay? But if you do, it'll be like negative 3 times 9. But they have to all be the same, right? Negative 3, negative 3. Okay, there we got 3 negative 3s. And negative 3 is our answer. Does look like a jelly bean. Or a kidney bean. Or a kidney. That's why a kidney bean is called that, because it's shaped like a kidney. Did you know that?
No, that's gross.
Why is it gross? Or what else does that look like? Sideways smile. But again, if you get confused on this part, because this way that we've learned doesn't work super great with the negatives, like you kind of got to know where you're going. Just remember, if this is odd and this is negative, your answer must be negative.
Ah, looks like a fungus.
All right. Okay. All right.